Oh. Merry Christmas, good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is to people. Hope everybody's doing good. I am still waking up. But since I've got no plan for the morning, family gathering is not until the afternoon, I figured I would come on for a little bit and just do a little bit of Lego to hang out. I know other folks may do some stuff this afternoon or today for Christmas as well. I don't expect anybody to hang out, but if they do, fantastic. I expect I may have a guest. Cliffy, Merry Christmas, bud. Miss Brooks, Merry Christmas to you, Lee. Hope you're doing well. So I expect it's going to be a very slow, very chill morning because I'm honestly still waking up. But I did want to do a little bit more work on my some of the Square alternative mock build here, the music shop cafe thingy here. Trying to make a little bit of progress on that. I figured why not do so that's what I'm gonna do. Click that back on here. There we go. Okay. I'm trying to wake up, Cliffy. I'm trying. I don't drink coffee. That's part of my problem. All right, gotta get some stuff out of the way because I gotta get all the bins set up here. Got so many parts across all these different bins. This isn't even all of it. There's so much stuff with this build. Okay, here we go. To start with, oops, almost lost the bin. Okay. I'm doing well. Again, just trying to wake up, but doing well. I'm looking forward to a fantastic gathering this afternoon, dinner and all that good stuff. I always look forward to a Christmas dinner with my folks. Rick Sargent, good morning, bud. Getting an early start after a late night on Daryl's stream, huh? I'm welcome. Nonetheless, thanks for hanging out. All right, just getting a couple things in order here. I kind of got a late start in terms of getting set up here. Turn this up just a little bit more. That'll get me a little pumped. Okay, so I got my tablet over on the side that you guys can't see, which is like over this way, with my instructions, and I'm just going to go ahead and kind of resume where I had last left off. I had been building a little bit more of this off my own stream, but I wasn't on when I was on with, I think, maybe Cliff on Wednesday, but I haven't touched it since. This is honestly pretty slow going in terms of the build. Because I had to sit there and pick out all the pieces from all these bins. So hopefully you guys will continue to have patience with me as I kind of work my way through this. But I'm trying to make some progress. Okay. Here we go. Get right into it. And I'll try to keep up on chat as best I can while I dig for parts and stuff like that at the same time. Yeah, I use InShot as well. I just use the free version with the ad. I don't pay for it when I do my shorts and stuff like that. Because it's honestly pretty straightforward and simple, in my opinion, to use. Cliffy got a lesson today. There you go. Which bin was that? There. 2 p.m. in the UK. It is 9:07 here, where I am. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start building up a little bit more on this layer. And again, my end goal with this is I want to just build it as the instructions say and use up all the parts that are here as they have it. But as I see it coming together, I do intend on modding this quite a bit. For one thing, it looks like this is going to be more of a cafe performance area, and I want it to be also like a music store and stuff. So I'm definitely going to be changing up a lot of this section here as well. But I really like the exterior for one thing. That's kind of why I wanted to go ahead with this. Looking built. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take these flimsy stairs out for now, because I think they're going to be a little bit of a hindrance to me, and the directions or the build doesn't call for anything to be attached. So yeah. Okay, now I'm going to do some tiling. 1, 3. 3. 1 of 3s. 1. Matt and I are in the same time zone. Yep, absolutely. Cliffy says that's the greatest gift. Yep, learning and teaching. Yep. Always great. Always great to learn something from somebody else. Alright, 6. I hope folks are having a good morning or Christmas Day so far. My morning is going to be very quiet. It's going to be the afternoon where it's going to be family time and all that good stuff for me. But I will say I would not be surprised at gift exchange. If I get some Lego gift certificates, gift cards. Cliffy says, gotta go please my kids. I want you to make a mess wrapping paper. Merry Christmas. Thanks, buddy. Go enjoy that. I hope you guys have a good one. Greg is up. He and I were talking. He and the family are doing their Christmas morning thing. He will probably watch in spirit at some point, or if he gets a chance to jump on. Just checking something on the phone here. 1 second, guys. Mayo, good morning, dude. Hope you're doing well. Alright, let's see. So that step is... Alright, so I've actually already put this in place, so that works. Actually got ahead of myself there. Okay, time to move on to another step. Slowly but surely. check this. What color is that? Black. 2, 4, 6, 7, 12, I think. Let's see, where is that piece? Where is that piece? This? Yes. The way that these instructions are produced, the dark bluish gray looks just like black, so I had to try to figure out if that's what the color actually was. But I think that's what it is, based on parts I have. Hope you're doing well, Mayo. Your Christmas was good. Yeah, I don't have anything going on this morning. My family gathering is not until the afternoon. So I figured I was going to just go ahead and jump on and have a little bit of stream action time. And hang out. And if anybody decided to come on, all the better. Now I'm trying to figure out this color scheme again here. I'm pretty sure that it's dark bluish gray, I think. Question is, do I have 6 of these? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that that's what color that is. And 6 tiles. 4, 5, 6. Cool. My December 25th is good. I try not to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Oh, no problem, man. I understand that. It's just honestly habit for me. So it looks like this is going to be the bottom framing of a door assembly here. Let's see, did I get that right? I gotta check myself again here. Did I miss a step? One sec, guys. Gotta check everything here. Oh, apparently there should be one larger piece that I just miscounted. I think I see it now, so oopsie. But easily fixable because it's Lego. do celebrate Christmas. Let's show us. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that. Not everybody celebrates this holiday in particular. Certainly understand that. Hopefully this will work out a little bit better than the previous iteration here. Looks like it should. There we go. Yep, my spacing is looking better here. So what happens when you don't count out exactly right? You pick up the wrong piece. You thought you had it right. Oh well, it happens. Okay, so I got that. Okay, time for some framing. So I need some windows and doors. Door. Oh, no, but actually I don't want to use that door. I want to use fancy door. Should I put this in here? Yes, it is. A window. I need one more window. Let's see what's in for the small black ones. In retrospect, I wish I sorted this a little bit better because it's kind of tough to get all that stuff out. It's not a face cam now. It's just a second camera. It's just showing from this angle, so I'm fine with it as it is. I'll come back to the window pieces because they're dug in there pretty good. In fact, I'm actually going to switch to this camera completely because it's easier to see that way. Let's see, this should go in there. Let's see, doorway goes on like this. And this will go up top here. Is this one of the rebrickable? Yes, it is. This is a rebrickable of the assembly square. It is the music cafe / shop kind of thing. And I think it looks really cool, so I wanted to go ahead and build that out. I was able to get myself an assembly square thanks to some VIP points and a gift card I had gotten. I only paid like $100 out of pocket a little while back. Let's see, 2 pills. 2 of these black ones. Funny how the black looks just like dark blue inside in my bins here, at least. Sure, that doesn't get all my spares. Let's see. Got on the big old bin, so time for a little bit of ASMR action here. Oh yeah. These 4 headlight bricks. We'll check the color on that. I think those are dark bluish gray. Let's see which one. believe. If I can find it. If I can find it. Where are you? Little headlight grip. There you are. All right, cool. And I had to go back a couple steps because I had to check the color. All right, let's see. So, two of these, one right here. And then there. Okay, so that's done. Cool. Now I get to place that on here. Ooh, big moment. Another big piece of the framing going in here. Sweet. Sweet. Very cool. It's actually starting to look like something. Okay, gotta build two of those. So I guess you're ready to see Daryl build his monorail in place in the city. Why do you gotta, like, aggravate and build up trouble there for a second, chicks? What about my monorail? I had a monorail first. The one thing I have that a lot of other people don't have that can call a redeeming part of my city, unique part. Three, 8, 8 of these. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Nope, that's not correct. There we go. There's 8 of those. Looks like 4 dark bluish gray. 2. Nope, that's sand blue. 3. Oh, we have a visitor. Ladies and gentlemen, Tasman Bricks.
G'day, Matt. How are you, mate? Merry Christmas.
The same to you, my friend. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, mate. G'day, g'day.
I'm still trying to wake up here and get myself going.
Believe it or not, I'm kind of the same. I actually tried to get a few hours sleep, and there's a bit of a full-on day yesterday, or well, for us, you know, for Christmas Day over here. So yeah, just just trying to get a few hours sleep, and then yeah, thought I'd try and pop in and say g'day for a bit.
Yes, much appreciated. Somebody to kind of help keep me going a little bit here.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Not a problem. Oh, g'day, Miss Briggs. G'day, Brick Sergeant. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, surprisingly, we got a few people hanging out this morning.
Yeah,
Expecting many people. I figured I was going to be busy doing Christmas activities.
Yeah, I haven't had a. I was just having a bit of a look now just to see yeah, what's been happening, and yeah, I can see a few streams are being scheduled, and yeah, I figured it'd be completely like sort of dead quiet for Christmas Day and that. But it's good to see a few streams happening. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any family stuff happening until mid-afternoon, so my entire morning is completely free.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just kind of chill and hang out.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, it was sort of funny. Yesterday there was like a whole bunch of streams on pretty much all at, like, or as I say yesterday, which would have been, Christmas Eve for you guys, and there was heaps of streams on, and yeah, I had family with us and that, so sort of spent the day with family and stuff, and sort of having to call my own family because they're all in other places at the moment. So yeah, I missed a lot of the other streams. I tried to get in the chat and a couple of them just to pop in and say good day and that. So
yeah, I didn't have a lot to do in the morning. I was kind of getting some stuff ready to go a little bit. I was planning to. So I joined you guys for a little bit. I was planning to go do a family thing. My mother called after I had gotten off with you guys in the morning and said, I'm not feeling well. We're not going to go over to my cousin's house or my stepdad's cousin's house. I'm like, all right, so I guess I can just hang out. So I'm doing a couple things, kind of doing started some gift wrapping, all that stuff. Just hanging out, relaxing. And then she calls me at like 1 o'clock. She goes, oh, I'm feeling better, so we're going. So I ended up driving over to meet them and then going over with them. And was there for like 5 or 6 hours. And it was nice. Got to enjoy a nice Christmas Eve dinner and that. So no complaints there.
yeah.
Let's see. Let's see another thing.
Yeah, no, we had I think we had some family over, which was good, and yeah, just a very sort of so quiet, but again, a lot of my side of my family are in other states, and that, so I was able to catch up, on video chat with my brother for a little bit, and yeah, and other family members like my, it's I caught up like with my grandparents who are still around. I unfortunately have an elderly grandmother who's starting to sort of check out mentally, and that's always sad when that happens. But because you always see your grandparents as pretty much bulletproof, and
right.
And yeah, my brother's had a bit of a hard time because we lost, our dad earlier on, and so yeah, milestones, Christmases, and all that sort of stuff. They're a bit tricky at the moment, a little bit more sort of difficult. But it was good catching up and just getting to be able to talk to him, and I think he's sort of yeah.
Yeah, we had got on my dad's side. We had gotten so used to having Christmas with my grandmother, his mother, for all those years. And she got to her 100th year.
Wow.
Was it 4 years ago now?
Oh yeah.
2016 was her 100th year. December 4th was when she was born. And we celebrated Christmas with her that year. And then the following spring, she kind of took a very sudden turn for the worse, and we lost her that spring. But
yeah,
that was she was always the matriarch on that side, and was always kind of the thing that we were used to doing, is going over her house and doing that stuff on my dad's side. Yeah, so it's been a little different the last few years, but it's still nice.
Out of curiosity, so here in Australia, and I think it happens in some of the other countries where the British monarchy is, when a person reaches the age of 100, they get a letter from Queen Elizabeth. And I know with the States, you guys have a president, but I was just curious, do they have a similar type of thing there for like US citizens and that reach 100? Do they get any sort of like recognition from the president or from the White House, or?
Nothing that I'm familiar with, because I know my grandmother certainly did not get anything like that. I've never heard of that, unfortunately. That would be a nice little thing.
Yeah, it's. I think again, like it's still happen. You hear of it happening every now and then in Australia, and again, I'm sure probably happens whether more possibly more in the UK and that as well. But I know, yeah, if I've had grandparents that have they are reaching into the 90s, so it's I guess you just don't hear of it happening as much now. Where every now and then one will get through, and you'll hear it on the news that such and such reached the age of 100 and received a letter from Queen Elizabeth, and um yeah, I don't know how much of the personal side of that the letter would be. I guess it'd be different if I don't know if it's like a pre sort of typed thing, and it's just that they just go, oh, that person said 100. Okay, we'll just send that out and stamp it with the
I mean,
the
that
Queen's
kind of sounds
signature or
like
something like
they
that.
have some kind of template ready to go.
Yeah,
They insert person's name, right?
yeah, exactly.
It's still a nice gesture, though. I mean, if I
Yeah,
got a letter from the Queen, I'd be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's I was just curious to see if they did it in other, again, like I said, like with with cases like the US, did they do something like that for citizens that reach 100? Because I mean, you got to admit, it's one of those milestones that is seldom reached, if you know what I mean. Like,
Oh yeah,
and
no
then you
question.
know, and even like pre pandemic times where just getting into the late 90s is pretty much it seems to be you still hear of it happening where people will make it into 96 and 97 and 98, and I was like, they get real close to that 100 mark.
Yeah, I mean, Brick started for my grandma. She was getting to 100, and her mind was still pretty sharp. It was just her body, was starting to fail.
Yeah,
That's kind of where it went.
my grandmother's getting there. Like, she's up until, I want to say, the last probably 6 or so months. Yeah, she's still very sharp. The problem is that she does remember what it is, and she's had like a couple of minor strokes where she does remember, but people don't give her the opportunity to remember herself, and they answer the questions for her, which I can understand could be frustrating, but
I mean, I was
but you
remember.
can see that she is still remembering, and for some stuff she's really good. And at the start of the conversation, she'll remember like my wife's name and my kids' names, and then towards the end of the conversation, she's sort of started to check out just that little bit and doesn't quite remember, or she gets a little bit confused. And
Right.
but yeah, like I said, like I said earlier, you always sort of see your grandparents as near bulletproof. But yeah, awesome to still, like, I mean, I got a chance to have a talk with her and that for Christmas Day, and my uncle actually they set up a video chat as well later in the evening after they'd had dinner and everything, and that was really nice just to actually get to, I suppose, see her, albeit over video chat and that as well. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's nice when you still get that opportunity to sort of see them and that. So but yeah, apart from that, Matt, have you been good this year? Have you been bad? Is Santa
I like to
Santa
hope
brought you anything really, really good this year?
I like to hope more good than bad. At least I think. No, I mean, I try to be good generally, right?
Yeah,
I keep my head up. I try to, work hard as best I can within my job and all that stuff, and support friends and family where I can.
yeah,
I'm just, I don't think of myself as a perfect person at all. I don't have a huge ego. I'm not like, oh wow, I'm amazing. No, I think, yeah, I kind of just stick to it. And I think people know that.
yeah. Did you get any Lego goodness this year for Christmas Day for you
So
or
since
for yourself?
our gathering our gathering technically starts at 3 o'clock Eastern time today.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a combination of both sides of the family, which is kind of interesting. So it's going to be at my sister and her fiance, because they got engaged yesterday. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So it's going to be at their new house that they had built earlier this year.
Yeah.
Very new. And sorry, look at my directions here too, real quick. So they're hosting, and we're going to have my mother and stepfather will be there, myself, my father and stepmother will be there, my aunt on my dad's side, along with my cousin, and then some of his family. My sister's now fiance's family will be there too. So it's going to be kind of a bigger gathering.
Yeah.
And then, so from what I understand, we will do some gift exchange, because my two nephews will be there and his 3 kids will be there as well. And then we can look forward to the massive Christmas dinner around 5 o'clock or so. And that's what I would look forward to, is the Christmas dinner.
Yeah, we had that. We had a big Christmas lunch. I had 2. Well, actually, for breakfast it was just like croissants. I had 2 croissants and a cup of coffee, and that was all I had for breakfast, because I wasn't exactly hungry. And then lunch was some more, we had some pork and some ham and potato and a little bit of salad, and that was sort of it for Christmas lunch. And I didn't even worry about dinner, because by the time we said that, because the pork took a little while in the slow cooker, and Mrs. Taz, because she'd worked the day before in retail, and she ended up sleeping in just that little bit for Christmas Day. Our lunch was a little bit later in the afternoon. It was a bit closer to 2 p.m. So by the time we finished lunch and I end up eating a fair bit on Christmas Day. I haven't had that much at all, actually. I've sort of scaled back my portion size, and but we'll have leftovers for days, which usually happens. So but I've got time off at the moment too, so I'm a bit of time off over Christmas is always good. So I'm hoping to get a bit more done in the Lego room. I was fortunate enough to pick up so we got the Ecto one, which was really cool, the bigger one, which is awesome.
Yep, I did see you have an Instagram post of your gifts. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. It's really great to finally get that one. I've been eyeing that set off for a while. I usually don't end up buying.
Sorry, Tess.
You're right, mate. Sorry. Oh, yeah, so Mayo's heading off, is he? Yep. Oh yeah, because I'm looking at the time, because it's what is it over here? It's almost 2 a.m. So so getting the Ecto one was really cool. That was actually a gift from Grandma Taz.
Awesome.
Who wanted to get us something, and she had called me late November and said, I wanted to get you something for, myself and Mrs. Taz. She's like, I wanted to get you guys something for Christmas we thought you might enjoy. And she just said, look, I'll send you down the money if you want to just go ahead and order it. And I'm like, I could do with some Lego VIP points at the moment. I'll happily accept that.
All right.
I got someone else has just popped up in the chat there too, Matt.
Hey, what's up, Ned? Merry Christmas, buddy.
G'day.
Dropping in.
Merry Christmas. So yeah, got the Ecto one, and then picked up the 3-in-1 castle. The 3-in-1 castle set. I actually got that earlier in the year, but it came up on a not necessarily a clearance, but I ended up getting it off one of the local retailers who was he was having his own little local, toy sale, and it was one of those cases where Mrs. Taz was actually over. I was at work at the time, and she was out, grabbing a few things, and she'd ducked over to the store, and she called me straight up and said, "Oh, there's this Lego 3-in-1 create a castle," and I barely let her get the sentence out. I said, "Yes, get it," because I knew he was having a sale. And I just said, "Yeah, get it." So we got it at a, I think it was like 20% off or something. So
yeah, that's pretty good.
It was actually.
I've got one for myself. I haven't opened it yet. I'm gonna eventually, when I start the medieval section, I will. But I'd like to have a second one, ideally, so I could try to do something a little bit bigger than what's with that set.
I've been thinking the same, Matt. I've actually been thinking the same thing. It's just, but again, I'm very much like yourself. I've learned, in the recent weeks that I think you and I have a very similar pattern to the way that we either order parts or use sets, where we're not necessarily buying sets for display. It's more in your case, like you said, if you're doing a medieval section in your layout, then you're not, then you're actually using the set. Whereas myself, I'm at this stage not going to have a medieval section, so it'd be a set that I would build as is. But I've thought about either building it as it is and putting it up on display for a bit, or getting a second set and almost not necessarily trying to mirror build, but just expand it out a little bit more. I may end up doing that. I'm tempted, but at the moment, display space is it's at a complete premium, because I really just don't have a lot of room to put a set like that, up on display. So I'm backed into a bit of a corner at the moment. So don't know what I'll do there, but I would like to get a second set. I was looking at it there, again, Christmas Day, and I'm like, it'd be cool to do something with it.
Oh no, absolutely. I don't have the space on top of where the city actually is itself, but because I've seen other people do this, I was like, I never thought about doing it until fairly recently. But I've got the space that's underneath my tables, which at some point I just have to get my butt in gear and clean up some of that stuff. But I was like, you know what? I can use the space underneath there and actually do some of this other stuff, these alternative scenes like people are doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Why waste that space?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's sort of something that I'd like to do as well, is actually, sort of brighten up my. I don't know why I'm saying the word brighten up, but I'm like change up a little bit of my habits. Like, primarily any set that I get is sort of layout orientated. So I don't call mine a city, really, because it's not a city. It's for me, it's more of like a little seaside settlement, like a seaside village maybe, where it's smaller shops and not necessarily large high-rise buildings. It's more, that beachside sort of vibe, where it's just a small coastal like township that's got like a lighthouse, and a town that's been around for a while, like an early sort of settlers, maybe like a bit more of an early, like a settlers town, or like a fishing village or something like that. So it's just trying to give it that sort of vibe, where it's still got a beach, and look, it's got a nice beach area, and then so I'm trying a few different ideas there.
No, that's very, very cool. I don't think a city has to fall within a certain size range. I think, just because, we look at somebody like Daryl that's got a massive barn, the city he is.
Yeah.
And, I've got my space in the second of my 3 bedrooms in my townhouse here. That's It's compared to some folks, yeah, it's a fairly decent space. But I mean, I know other folks, they've got like a single large, like 4 foot by 8 foot plank or something they put their stuff on. I think that's still a Lego city.
Yeah.
Because that's the first iteration of the city that I had when I was back in my teens. Is my
Yeah.
folks just let me put a plank on a couple of sawhorses, and that's in the garage, and that's where I built my city the first time.
Yeah. And, I think, another YouTuber that I found had some really helpful tips for that sort of stuff was JC from Small Brick City.
Yes.
I think you and I have talked about him before, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because again, when I first started out, I had a very small table. Actually, well, now it's the table that I'm using for as my build table was all I had back then. I didn't have a secondary, like a layout table or city table. And, I looked at a lot of JC's builds for inspiration to go, well, I don't have a lot of available room. So if I was going to do something, what would I do? By the time I got around to making my mind up, I'd actually had been in the situation financially and space-wise to be able to actually, empty out a garage and turn it into a Lego room, basically. So that sort of helped. So I was able to create a little bit more room. When I say a garage, I mean like a single garage, but
yeah.
So it's still not a massive amount of room, but the table that I'm using is a good size. I had an actual custom table made. Just again, I had to work to slightly different dimensions because of, again, limited space, and storage space was a premium. So I was able to get the table to a height where I could store 2. We call them tubs. I think you guys call them totes. We call them tubs.
Oh yeah.
Storage containers, but they're like the clear or semi sort of clear plastic storage tubs. The ones that I've got's about 50 liters. Like, they're good size. I can stack 2 of them on top of each other and have just enough room of clearance so I can wheel them out and grab what I need to grab and then wheel them back in without, rearranging an entire storage area. So taking advantage of, I sort of made a sacrifice for storage over shelving and that, because the shelving that I wanted to do wouldn't have solved all my problems as far as storage space. So I still would have been sort of stuck in square one, but this table has freed up a lot more room. I do need to go do a bit more rearranging at the moment because I've let it sort of get away from me a little bit at the moment. So I need to go back and do some rearranging, which I'm going to do over the holidays. So yeah, I'll get that sort of going again, and that'll be really good. So yeah, I've got to go back through some old stuff and just create a bit more storage.
Yep, that's exactly right, Brick Sergeant. It's what you believe it to be.
Yeah, exactly. But I wanted to move away from and it's not that I have a problem with it. It's the good thing with Lego. There's no right or wrong, but I said to myself, if I wanted to do a city or a layout, that I wanted to try and not to the degree that what Jane does, but I wanted to be able to have custom buildings, like mock buildings, and that in itself is a challenge. But I figured if I did something like that, it sort of helps just for my own, satisfaction with doing this as a hobby, where I'm setting myself more challenges each and every time, to be able to go, okay, well, I want to build a police station. I could just do what a lot of people do and grab a set and just build it as it is, or grab 2 sets, mirror image it, so then it's a bit more sort of fulfilled, and it's not necessarily dollhouse configuration. And then call it a day and say, well, that's it. I bought 2 sets, merge them together, and move on. I don't have a problem with people that do that. I think in a lot of cases it works out really well.
Right.
But for myself, I tend to try and set my own sort of challenges just to myself, to go, okay, push yourself that little bit harder from a creativity point of view, as far as, okay, I'll do a mock police station, but I won't, I'll try and take a bit more inspiration from real life buildings and then try to do something with Lego, like I did with my fire station. It's actually based off well, I say it's based off one. It's close. I took the architecture ideas off a real life small firehouse here in one of the New South Wales towns. So I just took some inspiration from that. I downloaded like 2 images from Google that had, because it's a little bit more of a heritage or architectural building, and I was able to get a few styling ideas off that. So literally sat there with one screen, like, with it blowing up on the screen, so I could, just zoom in and zoom out, get some little ideas and go, oh, okay, I've got a part that will replicate that, or
Right.
so I tend to do that with a lot of my builds, except for my pizzeria one, which at the moment, Matt, I haven't even got this on my YouTube channel yet as far as the actual build's concerned. I've had ideas and stuff that I've taken from the bigger pizzeria mocks, so you're getting a bit more of an exclusive here of where I'm up to at the moment. So
Yeah, just so folks know, Taz is remocking his pizzeria shop, and
yeah,
I've been very privy to a couple things he's doing, and I must say it's really cool.
thank you, mate. I appreciate that. A few people have been asking me about it, and they've been liking the original build, and that's why I'm not tearing it down. Or also for the fact that Mrs. Taz was like, I really like that. And she sort of put it, as I said in the video, she's a bit of a caveat there, sort of like, well, really, really, really don't want you to tear it down. And then, but this happened the other day. I was sitting in here one afternoon, like the kids were playing on the Xbox and that, and just chilling out, and I was, just having a bit of just their own, free time. And so, and they'd been really good. They'd been helping us with a few little, odd jobs around the house. We're just doing a bit more tidying up for Christmas Day, and they'd been really helpful. So I, gave them some free time. I came in here and was just sitting down working on this one that I'm doing at the moment. Mrs. Taz walks past and she goes, "Oh, that looks like your pizzeria." And I said, "It is. It's a smaller version of the pizzeria." And I said, "I'm just sort of having to substitute some parts." And she said, "Well, would it be helpful for you to grab parts off the other build?" And I looked up at her and I very promptly and sharply and probably bluntly reminded her of the conversations that I'd tried to have with her previously when finances were a bit more tighter back then, saying I actually wanted to go back and like tear that one down and have another go at it. You know what I mean? Like change up my build style. And she was like, back then, she's like, no, I really like it as it is, And I reminded her of that. She said, "Oh no," she said, "Look, if you need some parts off it," and I'm like, I've just done like 2 now YouTube videos basically saying you've put a caveat on it and I can't do anything with it. I'm going to look like an idiot now if I go back and say, "Oh, hey, guess what? Mrs. Taz gave me the green light." I said, "I've turned it into an entire bloody series now." And I'm like, oh. So I said, "No, bugger it." I said, "I'm going to make you out to be the Grinch, like the Lego parts Grinch," and say, no, she's Grinched me on the fact that I can't tear down that mock to do something with it again. And she's like, "Oh yeah, but people are going to think I'm mean," and it's like, that's your problem.
You know what, though? I mean, that original build that you did, Taz, that was obviously fantastic. I mean, I commented on it to you, obviously, when you posted it. But what I think is really cool is seeing, I've been privy to it, thanks to you, but seeing what you are doing to keep the spirit of that in basically half the size. That's what I find really cool.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do at the end of it is like do a little bit of a comparison, because over the time I've had a bit of a change in build techniques. I've picked up a few different ideas from back when that mock was completed, which I think I said in the first video, and my time frame's a little out, but not by much.
Mhm.
I remember completing it in early 2020, and so you know, even just in that time, I've picked up a few different ideas and build techniques. So I'd love to do I am going to do a bit of a side by side comparison. To be able to then say, well, okay, here's the original mocks, show some photos, and then bring this one up when it's finished, and then do the same thing and go, well, as you can see from here, and point to the old mock, and then say, well, this is what I was able to do from the new one, and sort of do something like that. So even with the tile work, there will already be a difference from what I did on the old mocks. So just little things like that. And like I've always said, I don't expect it to be one of those things that, there'd be probably people won't find it really interesting at all. But for those that do, at least it's there to sort of be that little bit of a, if someone finds it, a little bit inspirational to do their own thing based on sort of some stuff that I've done. Again, there's no right or wrong, but if someone finds a bit of inspiration, I think that's all good. That's great.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. It's like I'm building for my own sake. I just want to express myself.
Yeah.
But as I've been doing the channel, and more people come across and are like, "Oh, that's really cool. That inspires me to do something." Like, "Wow, that's really flattering that I could inspire somebody to do something." Because I've been inspired by other people.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where if we can find that way to sort of share what we've done, which is what I like to do. But I always put that little bit of a disclaimer on there, like there's no right or wrong to this. I'm in no way an expert builder. I'm not a someone of that level. So but if what I do helps someone in their sort of journey, whether they're just starting out or rediscovering Lego, and it's like, oh, you can do this level of sort of builds with these bricks. Like my mum is fascinated by the fact that she remembers buying sets from me when I was a kid, and now she can walk into like a Lego store and just which I've sort of asked her what's it like, because I mean, back when I was a kid, we only had we had smaller toy stores. We didn't have Lego stores then.
Yeah.
And back then Lego was just another toy. It wasn't like it is today, where it's one of the brands that's dominating at either it's dominating Mattel at one point, or it's close behind Mattel as far as toy sales on a global scale.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's spurred, it's gone to spawn on their own stores. So she said to me the other day what it would be, that it's surreal almost walking into a Lego store going, I remember buying sets for my son, and now he's an entire shop dedicated to Lego.
Yeah, like First Star just commenting here too. He was live with Daryl the other night, so he was hanging out. But he did briefly show he's got a lot of stuff out for display in his case, but he has no room that he can really put things. So it does kind of make me feel like, okay, I do wish I had more room, but at the same time I see people like that, and it's like, I am a little better off. I can't complain that much.
Yeah. And I don't know if Brick Sergeant's aware of Small Brick City, the YouTube channel. JC hasn't done much on there for a while now, and I say a while as in close to maybe 2 years since I think COVID, and he's been really busy in that too. But
yeah,
I know he's left his channel up there, and there's still some really good videos on there on working with very small available space. And I think he's made the comments where even if you've got like a small bench top or a very small table, even that's and like I think what was his sort of catchphrase? where we want to help you. Was it build a Lego city regardless of the space that you have, or something
That
like that?
sounds pretty spot on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if Brick Sergeant's aware of Small Brick City, but maybe worth checking out there, Brick Sergeant. And I did see you on Daryl's channel. Daryl's an absolute legend. Been a big fan of Daryl's. I know sounds like I'm fanboying on him, but I've been a supporter, admirer of his work for even before he built his Lego barn.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of lurking behind the scenes a bit before the Lego barn became a thing. In that case,
Yeah.
I started branching out myself to start hanging out with more folks.
Yep.
At that point, so then I started interacting with him and other people.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I saw that he was building in his basement before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends on what you can do with where you're at and the techniques you take.
Yeah, exactly. Brick Sergeant saying that he has seen his YouTube channel. Yeah, Brick Sergeant, I often will go back and watch some of JC's videos just to pick up on a few little things here and there. So, I mean, look, even for the fact that he hasn't done anything on there for a little while, his videos are very, very helpful, especially if you're doing this sort of stuff. And, you know, he really shows you how you can, with not much room at all, still achieve a city or a layout or whatever you want to call it, you know. But yeah, as far as Daryl, and that's like I remember saying to him when we were, I was on, was it the Cajun Yeti's live stream when he was doing the 48-hour live stream, and Daryl did his call to action, as he called it, on his channel, and Yeti got his 500 subscribers, and I remember talking to Daryl, and it's just like, I said, mate, do you remember when you were back in the basement and you used to have the Lego set boxes in behind you, so like we could see Daryl on camera, but in behind him he had the set boxes as his background, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, he laughed. He's like, oh yeah, I can remember that. And it was sort of showing
that long ago.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's why I, you know, because I think some people have said to me, like, not necessarily live on stream, but in like messages, oh, you're saying that you're just trying to make out as if you've been following Daryl for, you know, before he's had his barn. And it's like, well, yeah, I actually was. I was following him back then. But yeah, no, he's his level of detail is just next level. I'm nowhere close, but you know, anytime he's often commented on, like, I've either asked him for ideas, like even while he was building his barn, and even slightly before then, you know, was asking just sort of like the odd sort of, you know, tips and stuff. So yeah, it was really good.
I had to comment on Brick Sergeant's post. So I've got 3 as and you know, they sometimes like to get up here while I'm building and stuff like that. But my Lego room, is a separate physical space than where I am right now. That door stays shut unless I go in there to do work. And if I do, they at least one of them will run in that space with me. They'll just come to hang out.
Yeah.
I've kind of trained them to not jump on the tables. They will run underneath the tables, which when I eventually get to doing the other stuff, that may cause a problem later on. But if you've got cats, it's something that you've got to deal with. And I think just kind of training them, like I have forcefully said no very loudly. Excuse me, and they have learned. So yeah, I deal with it because I choose to have cats. They are my company, my fur kids.
Yeah, we've got one cat, and a couple of smaller dogs, but yeah, the cat, she'll often come in here, and which is sort of good in a way, because she'll go bug hunting and stuff like that, so that's always fun. But a couple of times I've had to shoo her down from the table. she hasn't destroyed any builds. She's knocked one or two slightly, and I've had to put some parts back on, but she's actually been pretty good. Admittedly, I'll give her some credit there. She's actually been pretty good about it. Mainly the trick is if I feed her, she goes away. It's like perfect.
Yeah, a lot of the times they're looking for attention and or treats.
Yeah.
The case. Oh wow. Rick Sargent has 7. Yeah, I can see that being more of an issue. Okay, I get that.
Oh, there you go. Well,
some of the sub-assembly pieces you have to build with this are a little complicated and convoluted.
Yes. And what are you working on? Oh, yes. I can see. Yeah. Sorry, because I'm getting the side-on angle on looking at what you're working on there at the moment.
And it's like they have these pieces all like kind of standing up next to each other, but there's nothing underneath actually holding them together yet. And it's trying to interpret what they're doing step by step, and it's challenging. But of course, if I didn't challenge myself with my first rebrickable with a huge one like this.
Yeah, that's I'll tell you what, there's some really cool stuff on rebrickable for sure.
I thought about doing some of them for a while, but I haven't bothered. But I was like, oh, I really want to do that particular build just because I think it looks different and just neat.
Yeah.
I think it actually could kind of frame a corner of a street in my city really well.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and did that. And I'm actually finally doing it. It's been like a month or so since I planned it. At least, maybe 2 months. Because I won't say sidetracked because it was a good project, but the other build that I was doing, the office tower, kind of took my focus for a while.
Yeah.
But I want to get this done. As I rustle around here, I want to get this done because the next portion of the city is kind of going to be arranged based on where I place this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I kind of got to figure it out.
I had to do that a bit with mine, with the start of my sort of layout, like I'm doing now. So I can relate for sure.
And of course, then the other wrench that got thrown into things, but I say in a good way. Excuse me, was the new modular coming out, and it's like, oh, I want that so bad, and it's like, okay, where am I going to put that now?
I'm still very much on the fence with this new modular.
Right.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, Matt. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like and it's not trying to discredit the designer in any way. But just for myself, I'm very much on the fence on it at the moment. I mean, yes, I'll end up getting it. It's just not usually at the moment, like with modulars from the past, I've very quickly jumped on them as soon as I possibly could.
Right.
But now, I'm sort of like, you know what? I'm just going to wait a while, and if I see it on clearance, not clearance. If I see it on like a toy sale or something, I'll probably just do that, which frees up my VIP points now to put towards future part order. I would actually be able to put in a reasonably good sized part order, so I might even wait for another double VIP opportunity in 2022 and do that and just put in a good sized part order and maybe grab a couple of smaller sets. And I am hanging out for some of the Lego City sets for 2022 that are being released earlier in the year. I'm liking that newer monkey. Is it the Monkey Kid?
The lantern thing.
Yeah, I'm really digging that set for sure.
Yeah.
So
pretty neat.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some other sets that I'm going to get before getting the modular this time round. And for me, that's going to be near a first, because I usually, like I said, I'll pounce on that modular as soon as I get a chance to get it. So I think it just hasn't grabbed my attention like some of the other ones did. You know, even to a point, the corner garage, as much as I was sort of, I loathed that set when it came out, because of, I just felt we got robbed on the available build space that we had for that modular. Seeing the new modular, I'm like, it has sort of gone up a couple of runs, but look, don't get me wrong, there is some really interesting and good build techniques. I love the furniture pieces in the new in the new modular for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like there's, and I mean, people that know or have gotten to know me obviously know that I'm big on the interior detailing. That is my bread and butter. That's what I love. And the fact that they really did focus a lot more on that, at least to me, it just was like, oh, you guys are catering to me so much. I love this.
Yeah, and that, Matt, I'm just trying to remember, are you familiar with the website New Elementary?
Yes. Absolutely.
Have you seen the different angles that they took with the, as far as photos are concerned, for the new modular? Have you seen how they've gone through the new modular?
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, I did watch. I think it was the day it came out, or was released to us. What was it? Beyond the Brick. They posted a speed build of it. It was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 minutes of it being assembled, and I'm like, I'm sitting there watching it. I'm watching the detailing and how things are done, especially kind of the corner flat iron style that they did with it. And I'm like, okay, this is really, really awesome. This is nothing like I know how to do. So I want it, not only because I like the look of it, I think it's fantastic looking, just in my opinion, but because of the techniques. I want it for the techniques. I gotta do some more of that stuff.
I think that's what will ultimately, end up getting me to buy the set. Will be some of the techniques that we used. I think the one that sort of was a bit off-putting to me for a little while there, if you noticed on the New Elementary site where they showed the I mean, we call them like garbage bins, or like, if I just say dumpster at the back there, it just seems like there was wasted space, like there was or missed opportunity there to flesh out one of the other buildings, whether it was the art gallery or the hotel, a bit more, because that dumpster, if you noticed, it's got a Technic brick there that's used to
a modular connection with it.
And I thought, really, like, we're getting like, it's not a city set, it's not a town set, it's a modular, and that's what they've done. I'm like, I was put off by that.
I think a lot of people are looking at that crane brick, Sergeant, if it's the blue and yellow one that you're talking about.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty darn cool. And that for me has some of the feels of the 80s crane style too, which I think is really neat.
For sure. G'day, Big Nate.
What's up, Big Nate? Thanks for dropping in. Hope you're doing well.
Awesome. Merry Christmas, buddy. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, Brick Sergeant, for sure. That crane. I remember on Matt, were you with us on Stud and the Dud when we had a look at that crane? Or?
Yes, I had dropped in late, but yeah, you guys were going through the city sets and talking about all that stuff. Yep. Yeah.
That crane, by far, like, when I saw that, I'm just like, oh, this is the Lego City that I love about. That's the side of Lego City that I admire. When they do those little crane builds, like, it's not a 3-in-1, or it's not not knocking the Technic theme, but it's not a Technic one. It's something we can put in our layout or city, you know, and it doesn't look out of place, even with the blue and yellow color. You know, I've seen plenty of like those road-sized cranes, mobile cranes getting around, even in real life in my own town, and some of them, you know, they're not the more like traditional yellow color. They're multicolored, or they've got a bit more, you know, not so like decals, but they've got that little bit more color to them. So I don't think it looks out of place at all.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little large for, of course, my streets because I run the old school stuff.
Yeah.
But I think for the scale, because it is a big industrial style crane, I think it's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be one of the things that I will pick up myself. I don't know when, but I do.
Yeah. Well, Matt, if you don't mind, and I'd like to be able to do a little bit of an here I am trying to talk up my build, so my mock so far, but
oh, sure.
If you'd like, I'd love to take you for a very quick. It is obviously still unfinished, but if I can take you for a quick tour, I'd love to do that if that's okay.
Yep, I got you on the screen. Go for it, mate.
All right, so here we go. Bear with me, the camera angles, you know, we're a bit tricky, but I'll do my best. So the front will be 2 doors. I was hanging out for the new, well, the existing door frame from, I think we worked, it was a 2020, I think Butt Shop said. But those, you know, like the double doors, yes. I was going to do that for the entrance of this, but I wanted to, I may, once I get my hands on those door frames and those door pieces, I may end up changing out the actual door entrance here. But for now, that'll be as it is. The windows, as you can see, they're actually offset. I've used jumper plates to offset the windows.
Great technique.
Nice and easy, little fun. I love just those little details, you know, the little subtleties to doing this. So yeah, I did that for the windows, and it just adds that little bit of depth to them. I love doing that. Obviously, I'm still working on the facade a little bit there, as you can see, but I wanted to add like the rounded studs to the top just to give it that little bit of a difference there. And a little bit with the use of tiling and the masonry bricks as well.
Yes.
For the tiling, I've opted very much for a Italian feel with that red, green, and white.
I mean, I love that. That's you shared it with me. I was like, yes, absolutely.
And also, it's going to be hard to see, but I've got a very small space for a thunderbox, or like an internal indoor thunderbox. Obviously,
you got to have a thunderbox.
Got to have a thunderbox. Obviously, I've got to, you know, put the actual detail in and put a door in there, obviously, but I've got the framing there for now. I'm just sort of roughing it in a bit. And it's not going to show, but under the stairs, there's actually another door. It might show on this side. It's probably not going to. Yeah, yep, you can see the door there. I was going to fit in a secondary, like a backup thunderbox, or a, you know, have a secondary thunderbox there under the stairs. Yeah, very much almost like an airline style toilet. You know, not much room in there at all.
Like the employee thunderbox, perhaps.
Pretty much, exactly. A doorway into the kitchen. The pizza oven, I think I've worked out I should be able to fit 3 pizzas in it at one time.
Awesome.
Obviously, again, unfinished section here where I've got the I've still got to work on, yeah, the pieces are loose, obviously, because I need to go and put tiling in, which I haven't finished yet. And I'm still very much a work in progress, but a staircase to go up to the first floor, which will be a dining space. And I've got a door off to the side, which will lead out to the outdoor dining area. So I wanted to do like a little courtyard like I did on the original mock.
Yes.
And have like an outdoor dining space.
Yeah, that is looking fantastic, as I had noted to you in our private chat. Yeah, I love the color contrast, and how it looks between the white, the light bluish gray, and the nougat there. I think that works really well.
Yeah,
I
that
feel that semblance of like traditional pizzeria and Italian restaurants united with the tiling there. I think that goes really well.
awesome. Thank
And
you.
I definitely
Yeah.
look forward to seeing all the detailing you do inside there, like the kitchen area and how you work that all out.
Well, I mean the yeah the area where it is. I mean, still a huge amount to go. I'm not going to be able to fit too much more in that sort of kitchen space. It is sort of as it is there. Thanks very much, Brick Sergeant. You're awesome, mate. Thank you. But yeah, so just still working on, like, I'll finish the tiling for that. But as far as, yeah, kitchen space, I mean, I just wanted to give the idea of what I was trying to do. Obviously finishing off the pizza oven area and all that sort of stuff. I wanted to have like a sink or a wash, area for the for the cooking utensils, that sort of stuff. So again, not a huge amount of room available in this, but I intended it. I had intentions for it to be small, but it still gives the idea of what I was trying to achieve anyway.
Yeah, I think as I've been discovering, because I love doing the interior work, I think it's actually more challenging and
Yeah,
sometimes even more rewarding to try to figure out how to get the scale of detailing you want into a smaller space.
yeah, and while I'm not looking at lighting this up straight away, I can use that as, I suppose, my own little excuse for not trying to over detail the interior, but I still wanted to create that sort of sense of, okay, well, if someone was, if I took the first level off this, you could see what I was trying to achieve. So it's still trying to show, well, there's a pizza oven, there's a food prep area, something like that.
No, I think you've done a fantastic job. I love, again, you not even kind of need the inside stuff, as I said, I like, but the architecture look on the outside with all the little subtleties and differences, just it's very pleasing to my eye, at least.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you. That's sort of what I tried to do with the original one as well. So with this one now, it's just trying a few little changes, and just see how I go with it.
Absolutely. I know you mentioned the whole lighting thing. Like I spent a long time working on my office building that I did, the Dave Morgan inspired one. And the reason I took the time to focus on the detailing while I was working on the project was that building will get lit up.
Yeah.
And I did the elevator shaft kind of the way I did on purpose because the wires will feed up through that. Of course. And I wanted to have some nice detailing inside because people will see it.
That's right. Yeah.
Beyond just my original, my mock review videos, as I call them, where people see what I've done. But it is going to be something people can see inside, especially with the large windows that I use.
Exactly, and that's where and you're free to take me off solo view if you'd like there, Matt. But I agree. Like, it's good that you're future planning, as I like to call it for myself. I call it future planning. It's like, well, I'm not doing lighting at the moment because of finances, but I want to be able to provide provisioning for that down the track. So that's why I've got, mine's, and I say, because some people say, oh, you're doing Mills plate. It's like, no, I'm not following the traditional Mills plate configuration, but it's in the spirit of Mills plate. I'm 2 bricks high on that one. But I've allowed room to fit, plenty of room to allow for wiring and stuff like that to be hidden as best as I can for, down the track when I can afford to spend money on lighting and stuff like that. But that's the thing, like, windows can be a great space utilizer if you don't have a lot of bricks in your inventory, or where you might not be able to afford to use as many bricks on a build. So you can get away with putting in larger window frames and putting more windows in. But the trade-off for that would be if you go to light it, people will see the interior. So if you haven't done an interior, it's gonna stand out. But I see it as a bit of a trade-off either way. Like, I mean, I'll except for a couple of my mock buildings, the ground floor will always have an interior. The first floor, like, there'll be no interior, because if I'm tricky enough with how I place the camera, you're not really going to see into the upper levels. So, or if you do, it's going to be from a distance anyway, so it's not going to matter. But you're not going to get those up close, like, minifig eye level views, where on the ground floor you will see the interior a little bit, even if you don't use lighting, because natural light is going to let you see inside just that little bit. Whereas if you're so I always thought, well, okay, that being the case, I'll put an interior on the ground floor, but won't bother with an interior for the upper levels. That way then that does free up resources to further doing interiors on ground floor level. And also the fact that mainly a lot of my upper level buildings would be apartments. So, I still want to try and give the illusion that the minifigs have somewhere to live, but there's just no interior. But I mean, it's just that little thing that I do, and so far it's working for me, I guess. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I kind of chuckle about the minifig place to live illusion.
Yes. Yeah.
I originally, when I first started things a couple years ago and started redoing my city the first time, I had a thing I wanted to do, like a residential area, and have some houses and stuff like that. But I kind of quickly realized as I started wanting to build more and more mocks in particular, I was like, I'm gonna run out of space pretty quickly if I keep all this in here.
Yeah.
Other than like modulars that have housing space and stuff like that, or things I do above, like what you're talking about. Excuse me. But I kind of decided to adopt kind of like a Jangbricks mentality, where he always kind of comments, this is not the city, this is a slice of the city and a slice of the world.
Yeah.
So things technically extend beyond the walls.
Yes. Yeah.
So as I built the city, I'm thinking my 80s song, built the city. No. I've kind of built it like I have like my main road kind of going around the inside, like where my walking space is. I have the road tailing around like that right now, and where the monorail goes. But I have side streets that are all running into the walls, because my thinking is the city doesn't just end, right? It keeps going in theory beyond the wall. So that's where like the residential and all this other stuff could be.
Yeah, exactly.
And accommodate for that.
It is clever, he's clever in the way that he's sort of done that as well. But even in his in his city, you can still see where he's tried to provide some residential as well. But and I mean, he's another example of the level of builds that he can do. And and again, the same as Daryl, there's just that next level up as far as the build techniques. And I mean, of course, it's always great to have a high-rise building, because you can easily say, oh, see that 8-level high tower, well, that's where the that's where the minifigs live, and so you can sort of wrap up your accommodation fairly quickly. And so there you go, they've got but for the smaller sort of layouts, that's where I try to have any sort of retail or commercial space on the ground floor. And then it's like, well, okay, I'll go up another level or another story, and then say that they are apartments, and that sort of kills two birds with one stone, basically.
Right. I've got a couple of smaller builds I've done where I've kind of integrated that idea. Like a while back, I had built. I just dropped a couple of pieces here. I gotta find them real quick. Because they're part of the central framing here. There we are. I had built like a small hardware store and then a little pub, which I kind of dedicated to my, in real life, good friend Greg, not Greg that we know from here. Because he likes beer.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah.
But for both of those little builds, I thought it was more like just a small village kind of style shop that had residential space above them.
Yeah.
So I did accommodate for that kind of stuff. And also, like, I have a comic shop that I mocked out, which also has residential space above that. And I've got the toy shop, which of course you mocked out to be the Lego store, which I've got 2 floors of the townhouse above that. So I've got little, spurts of like residential space in the city, but it is not a focus of anything I want to do per se myself. But that's just my own choice.
Exactly, and again, this is where there's no right or wrong in what we're doing. It's that complete. Was it like freedom of expression and that where we can, because we're not conforming to something. It's especially when you're doing mocks and that you can take it to that other level to say, well, this is how I'm justifying either having this element or not having this element or whatever to the build, because you can either, with some of those mocks, you can say, oh well, yeah, I've got a retail or a commercial space on the ground level, and the other couple of levels will be for apartments or things like that. So it's good that way, because it can help you resolve. It's like, okay, well, I don't want it to be just a single level building. I do want to have 2 or 3 floors. What could I put on the other one? Oh, residential space, done.
Exactly. Yep.
So I thought that there's been plenty of great cities and layouts for us to look at and get inspiration from and ideas. And I was curious to see how Daryl was going to put his big freeway or highway system through his layout, like the raised section of his highway, because like going there, how's he doing the off ramps or the on ramps? How is he going to achieve that? And I was very curious to see what he was going to do.
Of course, now that plan's kind of gone by the wayside for the moment, but I totally respect where he's going with that.
Oh, for sure. And I figured, okay, well, hopefully one day because I was very eager to see. It's like and I wasn't going to do a highway system in mind, like, or to that, I just don't have that level of room. So I was like, how's he going to do that? How's he actually going to do the off ramps or the on ramps? Because they themselves can take up quite a bit, especially a raised highway platform. And so I was curious. Was he going to do a spiral perhaps or something like that? Corkscrew almost, but or do like just longer, straighter ramps or something like that. So very curious. What's inspired you to do mocks, Matt? Is it what sort of gave you that level of inspiration to start doing mocks?
So I guess honestly it goes back to when I was little, when I was in my original phase of doing Lego. I think I got my first significant Lego sets, and I don't think my parents ever gave me Duplo. I think it was right into Lego itself, like actual system stuff.
Yeah.
Around 5 or 6, I think.
Oh yeah.
And they helped me build the sets, but I never kept them together. I always tore things apart, and from very early on, I was just mocking. I mean, of course, you're a little kid, you're just building all kinds of random stuff. But as I got into 10, 11, 12, I started to have a little bit more conceptual thinking about things. I actually started building just my own stuff. So my parents would still give me sets, but I just tore things apart and started building my own little things. It wasn't a lot. Like one thing I can recall that was kind of amusing. The 1991 or 92, before we had a fire and I lost everything at the time. We all did. So it's kind of unfortunate. But I remember we took a trip to an open house that one of the local TV studios or TV stations was having. And I think I was 10 or 11. And I thought, oh my God, this is so amazing. I get to see how TV works, right?
Yeah, it would have been.
I think it's like for an organization or something, like, I don't know, Cub Scouts or something like that, whatever it was. But we got there and they took us through everything. I got to see how the studio itself actually looked, all the behind the scenes stuff. And I remember thinking, this is amazing. I want to do this.
Yeah.
So I remember going home And okay, this is going to be painful. I will say that before I tell the next part of the story. It's going to be painful, so apologies. I had one of the sets I had was the original 91 or something, 1990 space shuttle, the one that kind of looked a little bit less impressive. They had the launch tower, the red launch tower, had the lattice pieces, which actually I think I've got a couple I could show you those pieces. Because I bought these off of Bricklink. It had a bunch of these guys, if you remember these from that set.
Oh wow, yeah.
Which was really cool at the time anyway. But I remember I had taken that space shuttle set apart and I started building out a TV studio building. And I remember using a bunch of those lattice pieces to kind of create the framing for the studio.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, for sure.
But it's stuff like that, my experiences as a kid that inspired me to just kind of build things that I saw around me. I didn't have the city. I wasn't thinking about a city at that point. I just wanted to build little things. Because I was playing with stuff at that point. It wasn't just for having fun and showing up and the fun of the build. So things like that. And then I was about 14. We moved to New Jersey at the time. My parents let me set up a space in the garage, as I was talking about earlier, to start doing an actual city. So I actually started putting together real sets and setting them up in the city. At that point, I was actually into racing a little bit. So a portion of my city is dedicated to having a small racetrack and some pit stops and stuff like that. And then the other part of it, I had like the airport at the time that came out, the 1994-95 airport, International Space Airport or whatever it was. I forget the title of that set. I had the Launch Command set from 1995 or 96 that became a part of the airport.
That's cool.
Corner there. And then I had some other mocks that I put in between those two areas, just stores and little things like that. And that was all. That's how my city became a thing back then. Was I had a couple of sets become centerpieces, and then it was mocks all around that or between that, and that was fun. So when I set about building my stuff now, the last couple of years, I told myself, okay, I will do sets, like the modulars. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get myself modulars because they're cool. They look fantastic. But I'm not going to let those become the thing for my city. I'm going to do mocks.
Yeah.
And that's from the get-go. That's always been my frame of mind, is to do mocks as the centerpiece of my city. So long story short, that's where that came from.
That's awesome, though. That's really cool.
And it's just so much more pleasing to me.
Yeah.
To build something original.
Oh, for sure, definitely. I'm very much the same in that aspect as well. Greg's in the chat. G'day, Greg. Good to see you, mate. Merry Christmas, buddy.
Hey, there he is. Take it.
Oh, good on you, Greg. Thanks, mate.
I was going to say, take it. You guys have done a little bit of gift unwrapping at this point. Lol, Lego. And since he's my right hand man, my bad penny. If you guys haven't, please go subscribe to Greg's channel. Give him a little bit of love. I push him a lot to try to do some content and some builds. He's slowly doing that.
It's awesome, Greg. Good to see you, mate. Hopefully we'll get to hang out again on stream in the near future. I certainly over the holiday time. I was fortunate enough to have a bit of time off at the moment, which is really good. So
I'm off for the next week or so myself, and I do plan to do a little bit more streaming, I believe.
Oh, awesome. That'll be great. I
look forward to that. Let's see, am I off by one? I'm looking at my build here because I'm trying to figure out if I'm off by one or not. Am I? Looks like they'll line up. Okay, maybe I'm good. Yeah, this whole assembly has been so convoluted. I'm just trying to figure everything out. Both builds look great. Thank you, Greg.
Good on you, Greg. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that, buddy.
First Sergeant saying hey to Greg. Rick Mine, good morning, dude. How you doing? Merry Christmas to you as well. Thanks for dropping in.
G'day.
And Greg got something special.
Oh, that's awesome, Greg. That's such a great set.
So Greg needs to Greg's going to need to work on some of that while he's hanging out streaming with me here.
Oh, for sure. It's such a great set. And I guess I was kind of hoping for the 15-year mark for the modulars that they may have gone back to take some ideas from Assembly Square, and like, you know, we got a really good size build for that too. And but yeah, I mean, obviously not go for the exact same style of build, because it would have been just effectively getting another Assembly Square, so to speak. But
yeah,
the amount of different detail and technique and the amount of nods that they'd done to previous sets over that back then, the 10-year mark, it definitely pushed me to get a second copy of that set, which I still haven't opened yet. It's still backlogged, but my intention for that was not to do a rebrickable with it. Not that I'm, you know, I really do admire what they've done with the rebrickable one, but
I mean, you guys can see what I'm doing with my second one.
yeah, and trying to just actually do my own sort of little spin on a couple of smaller builds, and like instead of a bakery, because I've already got one in my layout, try to do something a bit different with that sort of build. But I love some of the build techniques that were used.
Had a great morning. Glad to see you. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was saying early on, I didn't have anything going on this morning. My family gathering for Christmas is not until this afternoon. So I figured why not come on and hang out. And my good mate Taz here was kind enough to join me to keep me company a little bit and kind of keep me going here. So to answer the next question, I have not gotten anything yet. I honestly am hoping and expecting, because I didn't tell people anything otherwise, to get Lego gift cards, so that
Nice.
if I can freely get what I want to get and not have to be like, oh, okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
But very cool to hear you got the coaster in another garage. That's awesome.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, the big coaster set was one that I had been eyeing off for a little while, but again, it would be one of those sets that would literally sit in its box collecting dust for a while, because I'd have nowhere to put it, nowhere to put that particular set as it is, unless I sort of built it and just let the kids muck around with it, and which I know they'd have fun with it too. But just having to then find somewhere to put that set, you know, so but yeah, the corner garage, yeah, I've seen, I think Rebrickable's done something with that one too, Matt.
They have. I do have that sitting in box myself.
Yeah.
And my intention is to do a rebrickable of that as well.
Oh, that's cool.
One of the ones, which I don't mean to give him publicity, because it is what it is, but I know, like Brixie, for example, he built a rebrickable of the corner garage into that arcade pub thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do, is I want to build that one out. But actually, I went ahead and decided to do this one first before I did that one. The experience that I need to know and understand how to do a rebrickable. A challenging one.
I like Greg's comment too. He's saying you have to rearrange some stuff. Yeah, it has a bit bigger footprint, Greg. That's and you know, not necessarily a downer to that particular set. It's just, yeah, it has a bit more footprint, because they tried to cram in a fair bit of like nods to the previous sets, and I think they did a fantastic job.
Oh, no question. I love what they did beyond belief. That was actually only the second modular set I got. I had gotten Brickbank off of eBay for like $150 used back in 2019. Yeah. And the Something Score was the second modular I got ever that I built at 4,000 pieces. And I was like, oh, this is so amazing. I love this. So I was very glad that my folks decided to go ahead and give me that, knowing I got back into Lego and I was looking to expand and everything at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Brickmine saying they said, well, we'll sit in the box for a while. Yeah, it is one of those sets that, you know, I've thought about it a couple of times. It's like, if I end up missing it and it goes to retirement mode, I'm not going to be too disappointed. It's not one of those ones where I will sit back and go, oh, if only. It's certainly a great set, though. I mean, awesome detailing
Yeah.
and great functionality as well.
Yep. No, I mean, if I could do everything, I would have loved to get the coaster and some other stuff. I can't think about that because I got to prioritize, obviously, as everybody does, what they want. And yeah, certainly Brickmind. I'm hoping that's the case because I am going to be at my Lego store on January 1st at 10 a.m. when doors open. I'm going to be there, in fact, early, to make sure I'm in line at the head of the line if I can be, to spend all the monies. That is my intention.
Oh, that's awesome.
The modular will be picked up along with, pretty sure, a couple of city sets. I want to get Series 22 CMFs. And honestly, maybe a front set or two as well, because I know you and I and Lumberjack and other folks talk about sort of the Dut Taz.
Yeah.
The Friends stuff coming out too looks really damn good.
It does, yeah. I'm definitely in the frame of mind of those. Oh, look, that probably one set in particular. Well, I mean, there's two actually, but one that stands out in particular would be the houseboat set that I'd love to turn into a floating restaurant.
So get this, Taz. I was on a Jang stream within the past week, just hanging out, watching and participating in chat and stuff. And somebody on there mentioned the boat.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, so I was hanging out on a stream with somebody, some other folks, and we talked about that, and it was brought up that it would look perfect as a floating restaurant. And they're like, even Jen was like, oh, that sounds like a fantastic idea. I could exactly see that being the case.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. There
so, boom, there's a little bit of exposure there for the idea.
Mate, that's awesome, because, as soon as I saw that set, I thought, okay, I could, as I like to say, de-friends the set a little bit and take some of the elements away from it. But in that spirit, though, take that idea and turn it into, some sort of like a floating restaurant where you could have, interior being, more for a small kitchen area and maybe one or two interior seats, but then up on the rooftop level or the upper level, have like an open, open space area for dining, and just have like a little floating, exactly like a little floating restaurant. I think that would, especially for my layout, it certainly wouldn't look out of place. It would sort of fit right into that.
Oh, I think it could work really well for what you're doing.
Oh, and even for cities, to have I know that especially around Sydney and that they have they have a lot of very popular harbour cruises where they'll take like catamarans or yachts and then actually and do that.
I was catching up on a few of the comments. Yes, the Canadian will not be named. Fairgrounds collection takes. Yeah,
they do.
I completely agree, and I want to give another shout out again to my good friend Mike, Dr. McBrick. We're thinking of him, of course, and his recent announcement. But I mean, the reason I was attracted to his channel and his stuff was because of the fairgrounds. I say fairgrounds, but literally the huge theme park.
Oh, for sure.
That he built. I mean, the things that people can do now with the sets, of course, and then with mocking stuff around that is just, it's so amazing.
Yeah. No, it is.
I will say this, with my love of monorail, if I was to do a theme park and nothing else, I probably would have done something with the monorail in the vein of like a Disney World style monorail going back and forth between parts of the theme park.
Yeah.
So that would have been amazing. But Greg's got to take off for now.
Good on you, Greg. Merry Christmas, buddy. We'll definitely catch up in future streams. And yeah, Matt, again, as you said, you've got some time off and doing some streams. And if I'm welcome back on, mate, would love to come and hang out with yourself and Greg again, definitely.
Taz, because we're made. No question.
And yeah, very much so thoughts with Mike and Dr. McBrick. And I was fortunate enough to be able to reach out to him personally and that as well, and have have a bit of a chat to him. And I've been again lucky to actually talk to him on a few backstages, as he's close friends with GJ Bricks here in Australia,
Yes.
and of course GJ and myself are fairly close as well. And yeah, sometimes where just the timing of when Greg and I have streamed, Mike's missed the live portion, but he's been able to pop in backstage and hang out with us for a little bit. And yeah, to see his video was very much concerned. But I love his determination and spirit. And definitely I was able to, and he sent me a nice message back, and we've been chatting backwards and forwards. And obviously it's not a topic that I'll keep bringing up with him, of course, but he already knows that there is so much support there, not just from myself, but a lot of us in the community. He knows that we're all thinking of him, and that he has plenty of us who would happily just talk with him regardless of what he if he had something on his mind, or whatever. It is that very much a big thing of with, and even to do with general mental health. I sadly come from that little bit of a generation of like my parents' generation, where they were brought up not to express their own feelings. And it's something that my dad very much discouraged with me, and my brother and that as well. But it's okay to talk about things. It's not always the best solution to bottle things up to a point where potentially you may find your only way out of things is to take your own life. It doesn't hurt to be able to confide in somebody, whether it's a mate or a friend or a family member or a professional. It's and I know, was it I'm trying to think back when that was. It was before he moved. Dr. McBrick did a video on sort of like that sort of mental health topic, and I thought he was very, very whether the word inspirational is but I thought it was very, very admirable of him to do that video on it, and the fact that he opened up about it. And I think that was one of the first times I'd actually made contact with him and that as well. And I said, thank you for for highlighting that sort of thing to do with mental health. And it was really, I found it very admirable of him to actually do that and to put himself out there, and not be afraid to share his thoughts on that whole thing. So
Definitely, no question.
And look, definitely positive vibes and all that being sent out to him. And he's such a talented builder. But what makes it more great is that he's such a down-to-earth person, and that as well. There's no ego with him. He's not out there to he's not causing trouble. He's not trying to make big spectacles of things. He's just he's so talented as well. Six Figs is my all-time favorite. Like, it was, I remember catching up with him backstage after he'd moved, and I said, Mike, I've got a bone to pick with you, sir. He's like, what have I done? And I went, do you know how hard it was for me to know that you were tearing down Six Figs? I knew that he was going to rebuild it, of course, but do you know how hard that was, even as a genuine fan of Six Figs, to see it, knowing that it's going to be dismantled? And he laughed, he thought, because I said, mate, that's one of the best things I've loved about your whole channel is Six Figs. It's absolutely brilliant. And he's always loved the feedback, because I'm just like, mate, anything you do in Six Figs is a win. It's so definitely thoughts with him, of course. He's such a great guy, and look, I'm positive that he's going to come through this little bump in the road, so to speak.
Right. I think we all certainly think it will be just a bump in the road, and he'll be back with us.
Yeah.
Tell you what, getting this stuff in here is this is a pain in the butt. It's not cooperating with me very well right now. I'm probably gonna have to revisit this probably off stream at some point here because it's just not going very well. The way that they did this is very convoluted, and I wish they had just built it kind of on the plate itself instead of all these tricks that I'm trying to do to get this to work right. Because it doesn't want to seem to go in. Breaking things off. And I'm trying to figure out what's going in where here.
It's always the joys. It's certainly the joys of custom building or mock building, where it can be, you get some highs, but you get some very frustrating lows with this sort of building. And I'm sort of, taking a little bit of a break just at the moment from, like, I've done a bit of stuff tonight just to fill in some areas that needed to be filled in. I've got a bit more plate work to do on the front parts of the windows. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do in the middle section where the two doors are, the signage and stuff like that. I'm just trying to let a few ideas sit in the slow cooker a little bit, just let some ideas simmer for a little while. But yeah, no, look, it's anytime that you're doing mock site like what we're doing, or whether it's even re-brickable or anything like that, you can always find those points that can be really frustrating. And then, I think once you sort of clear those little hurdles, the reward is there at the end. But early stages of a build, it feels like the end result, is months away. Maybe not months, but certainly days or weeks away from completion. But I'm looking forward to seeing the end product, Matt. I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, I'm looking forward to it as well. It's going to be, I think, a very slow process if I keep messing up like this. And I think I put something back on backwards, so I'm going to go back again and check this out.
Yeah, I'm the same with Technic sets. It's why I don't do Technic. It's not that I don't like the theme. It's just I'm terrible at Technic. Because I know that if I make one error, I'll get almost to the end, and that one error will be the cause of or reasoning for it not to work later on down, further in the build.
Right.
Whereas a city set or even a modular, you can kind of get away with some stuff, or when you go back to realize, that's a 4x brick, not 2x bricks or whatever. It's a relatively easy and quick fix. Whereas Technic, it feels like you've nearly got to pull half of the thing to pieces, literally, to fix one little thing. So
I've never had a desire to do Technic work at all. I want to do a little bit of Technic work in terms of doing little pieces for building certain structures, but as an actual set, no, I have no desire to do it.
Yeah,
not at all.
Yeah, Technic, and I just don't see eye to eye with Technic. I mean, look, in saying that, one set that was nearly going to pull me out of my, or should I say, Technic dark age, maybe, was the Caterpillar D11 Bulldozer Set.
Okay. Yep.
The level of detail on that, and I've come from a family of like my father-in-law for a while had his own construction, heavy machinery business, and also so did my dad. He had an earth moving business and that as well. So in regards to moving large machinery like bulldozers and so I've been around them in real life as well, and like to see the level of detail in that Technic Lego set absolutely blew me out of the water. I'm like, oh wow, I'm really considering buying it, and I'm like, but the price tag over here in Australia, it's not a cheap set.
Right.
I think over here for us, it's close to the $600 range. So that's for me, that's a little bit pricey at the moment, but well worth it though. That's the thing though. It's well worth what it's asking for in its price, because it's the level of detail is so it's very, very accurate too. Like it's it's like they haven't cut corners with that set. They haven't, they've really actually done it some justice, like to mimic a lot of the details from the real life bulldozer. Because like to see, I've seen a D11 in real life, and they're a monster of a machine. They are huge.
Yeah, I've checked that out. A couple of those big construction ones before, just from referencing or other people referencing them. And I mean, yeah, some of the builds are. I'm like, this is incredible. It's just something beyond my means for sure.
Oh, look, 100% the same, Matt. I'm not going to deny that. It's not something in my. Well, it's sort of now. It is in my means, but in saying that, it's not. Again, it would sit in the box for probably a year, maybe more, before I even thought of getting to it. And it's like, if I'm going to do that, I may as well try to, I may as well use that money on parts that I'm going to be using now, for the layout and for mock builds and stuff like that. So
Right.
That's where I'll be placing, whether it's more Bricklink orders or online pick-a-brick orders, stuff like that. I don't get to my nearest Lego store as near as enough as I'd like to, although that's probably a good thing in some aspects because...
No, I can personally vouch that it is a blessing and a curse.
It is. I've got a local pub near my walking distance from my house, so having that is also a bit of a temptation. I'd like to go down to the to the pub with a couple of mates and just knock back a couple of beers and come home. So I tend to tell myself, oh, that's right, the pub's closing early tonight, I've missed my chance. It's that little mental thing of going, well, I'm just going to stay home. But it's convenient. Like they have a takeaway. They do like takeaway pizzas there and that, and it's the pizzas are fantastic. So very, very easy to get into that trappings of what are we going to do tonight for tea? Oh, let's just get a pizza. So yeah, if I had a Lego store, even like half or 20-30 minutes away from my house, it'd still be very tempting just to go, I'll just pop into the Lego store and grab a Pab cup, and walk out $200 or $300-$400 later,
That's the problem I have, and it's only amplified. And I say this in jest because I appreciate that he does this for me. But like my store manager will text and say, "Hey, new parts."
Yes, yeah.
I'm like, oh no, dude, really?
Blessing and a curse.
Ooh, I'm about to put on a significant piece here. Ooh, finally a little bit of progress.
Hey.
Oh, if I can make this go on correctly. Here's the question mark.
Big Nate saying he wishes he could walk to the pub, and yeah, probably better. I cannot. Yeah, Nate, I'm sort of the same now, where I just try to put it at the back of my mind that that's right, there is a pub walking distance from my house, and yeah, and actually, Matt, that's going to be my next series, where I made a pub mock, more so the ground level of it for my dad. So I'm actually going to make, I'm going to go back and revisit that as well. Wow, hey, that looks really cool.
I'm actually starting to look like something now after all the work I've been doing.
I love the details at the front, Matt. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's pretty clear to me as I've been going through this that the designer wanted to take a lot of the little things, that came with the assembly square, all the various portions of it, and try to do some really nice scribbling and detailing. And even though it's been a pain in the ass, I will say it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clear the end product is looking pretty darn good.
Now, is that the combination of two sets, Matt, or is that one set?
This is one set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what's interesting to me is that so far everything I've been building, it hasn't used much of the other colors. It's been a lot of black and a lot of grays, except this wall over here has a couple levels of sand blue.
Yes, yeah.
So if I recall, as you get to the second floor, and I think this will probably be some grain stuff too, because it's supposed to be against another building. It's like modular style, of course. I think the second floor and up is going to see more of that brown and the sand blue and stuff that we saw with the original.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think as you get up higher, it'll start looking more impressive. I know the centerpiece of this is that nice little musical, I think it's a musical note or something. It'll be on the second floor that just stands out. I can't wait to build that.
That's going to be awesome, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a pain in the ass, but I'm enjoying the challenge. It's a little slow, but I think the end product will be worth it, for sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I think, let me see what the next portion of this instruction is. Oh, okay. So I think the next portion of the section is going to get a little bit easier. It looks like it's going to be building up the walls along the side and the back here, which look like they will, again, just be gray. So that should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
And then I think that's actually going to do it for the first floor. So maybe I can actually work on that for a little bit here and try to get that done.
Yeah.
It didn't take me too long to do this, hopefully. Not like the last hour and a half plus I spent just doing that little section. Oh, what a challenge that was. But it's worth it.
Yeah, they've no, I'm
catch up on chat here real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, talking about the pub stuff. Nice looking. Thank you, Rick Sargent. Kevin, good morning, dude. Hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas.
G'day, mate. Merry Christmas.
And again, thank you to Pat for his late morning over in Australia, hanging out with me here, keep me a little bit of company.
Oh, mate, for sure. This is, and you know that I always appreciate the invites, mate. And sometimes, I end up missing your midweek ones because for me, it's obviously, well, through the week, it is a bit more later for me to be, because sometimes it can be either 1 or possibly, sometimes it could close at like 2 a.m. in the morning. And
right.
Whereas at the moment being on, having some time off, it's like, yeah, I'm not too worried about, I know I'll be tired for Boxing Day, but we're not really doing much Boxing Day. Because of COVID here where I am in New South Wales, it's we've had a lot of higher cases at the moment. So, and I've got like my side of the family live in other states. So it's much harder to travel at the moment without sort of knowing whether or not the borders will be closed, or the fact that they could want us to go into quarantine for, any number of days, which, even then some of the state premiers seem to change their mind on quarantining. One day we'll hear, oh, no, you don't need to quarantine. The next day, yeah, you need to quarantine. And then they'll be like, oh, well, but we're not sure for how many days. It might be for 4 days, 7 days, 14 days. It's like, well,
right.
On holidays, that's a bit hard to just spare at the moment, go, oh, that's fine. We'll just keep extending our stay. And so that's been frustrating. So yeah, Boxing Day is going to be very quiet.
I hear you. So I mean, tomorrow for me, my Sunday in this case, honestly, I think will be pretty quiet. I'm gonna probably go back over to my mother and stepfather's house to, honestly, I gotta do some laundry because I tend not to do laundry in my place because I have to use the community ones. It's just easier to do that, right?
Yeah.
Folks. And just go hang out. And I know my stepfather has a little project he needs my help with, so I'm gonna do that. But yeah, I'm just gonna relax, enjoy the day too, and yeah, I'm gonna be on vacation for the next week and a half or so myself. So I'm hoping to just chill, enjoy things a little bit here, stream a little bit more than I usually do. But I know a lot of other people probably will be doing the same thing.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Do you find because of your professional background that you become the family IT technician, or the family sort of nerd that's able to fix, like, oh, my TiVo is not working, oh, my Netflix is not doing this? Do you know?
I laughed because the minute you started saying that. Yes, wholeheartedly, 100%. I don't want to say this in a mean way because it's not meant to be that way.
No.
But yes, there is an unwritten expectation
Yes.
that I'm going to help people out. And it's okay. It's okay. I don't mind helping my folks out.
Yeah, I've done the same in you know, with my family and that as well. And you know, my mum's a classic example of one of those people that'll just start clicking buttons, and all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, it's all gone now. I don't know what I've done." And I'm like, "Well, for a start, Mum, I can't see your screen, like, you know, unless I did a screen share type thing. And if she's called me and I'm, you know, not home, or I'm out and about somewhere, and she's like, "Oh, hey, I've just done this. Do you know how to fix it?" And it's like, okay, give me a minute. And then while I'm trying to think about, what has she done? She's already clicked on 5 or 6 other things. So the screen that I'm trying to get her to go back to, she doesn't even know how to get to it. And I'm like, oh, it's like, Mum, stop clicking buttons. You've asked me to try and help you fix it. By you clicking on 1,000 different buttons while I'm trying to get you to look for a setting or a screen's not helping me at the moment. It's actually making it harder to fix. You know? So
yeah.
Then she gets upset and says, "Oh, you don't want to help me." And it's like, you're clicking on 5 or 6 options when I just need you to click one button. It is not helping.
Thankfully, my folks have learned that if something happens, that generally they will. Excuse me, I'll get a drink here. I'm talking a lot. Yeah, generally they have learned that if something comes up, they start doing something they don't know, they will stop and then they will ask me, what should I do? They won't persist with doing whatever they're doing.
Like,
I'm like, thank you,
yeah.
because then I can either tell you to just do this or do something else, whatever the case may be. I have to worry about that.
Exactly. Merry Christmas to you as well, Kevin. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, definitely, mate. It's one of those things where now I'm sort of a bit more say like reserved might be the wrong word to use, but I'm you know, sometimes now, like, Mum will pick up on the fact that if she just keeps clicking buttons randomly, it's not going to fix the issue. It's actually going to make it worse. And she actually did it at one point where I don't know what the hell she'd done. It was that bad. In the end, she ended up taking it into the local, like, you know, computer center, and they were able to fix. I think they ended up nearly having to do an operating system reload because whatever she'd done, like she just, whatever it was too far gone to try and diagnose.
So I will chuckle a little bit. So because I'm a technician, I have to know both PC and Mac platforms. I have to go both of them at work. And I actually am Apple certified. I'm a certified Apple hardware technician because my job demanded I get that certification. But I will say at heart, I am more of a PC person.
Yes.
Things.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have an appreciation for the Mac platform, but anyway, that being said, both my mother and my father and my stepmother all have kind of adopted the Mac platform at this point.
Yeah.
You know, because Macs are inherently a little easier to do some things. They're made for consumers, and I get that. They just run a little bit easier with some of the peripherals nowadays.
They do.
But that being said, it also does make tech support a little easier because some things don't necessarily happen as frequently with a Mac.
Yeah, true.
With a PC.
Very much the case. I know. Thankfully, my mum at the moment has a Samsung phone, so I can quite easily, you know, she'll say, "Oh, I want to do this." I'll just say, "Okay, just go to your Google Play Store and download this app, and really easy to use. Go for it, use it." You know.
Yeah.
And then for her laptop, it's Windows 11. Windows 11. Windows 10. Hang on. No, what am I? Yeah. What are we up to? Windows 11 at the moment, or is it?
11 is new as of the last 6 months or so.
Yeah. So again, easier to sort of diagnose and you know, because but when I was working in other professions, I was using Apple. I was using Macs a lot more. Especially the one thing I found with doing anything audio related or any video editing, Macs seemed to be so much more superior as far as their ability to do rendering but to also just crunch those heavier files. Whereas a PC, you had to have a very beefy machine to do something that a Mac could do pretty much with ease. Like anything like running Premiere Pro or Final Cut, or even to a point an audio editing an audio production tool called Pro Tools runs very
Mhm.
well on a Mac. Whereas if you run it on a PC, it's far more cumbersome on a PC. It seems to kill resources on a PC, but on a Mac, and you can have a low spec Mac, and Pro Tools will just happily chug along like it's nothing. It'll just
Yeah, we have. I work at a university and in their IT department professionally, and we do have a department, an academic department that is broadcasting and all that stuff and journalism. And
yeah,
one of the things that they do is, they do have a lot of Macs, so they can teach folks how to do things like the Final Cut and all that stuff, and the Pro Tools, and how to
yeah,
do all the editing and rendering and all that good stuff.
exactly, yeah,
And yeah, I mean, they have those things because the Macs are much more able to handle all of that and do the quick rendering, and they don't have to be quite as beefy or whatever. They can still handle it, and it is a
absolutely.
superior product network. I have to give them credit. It's a superior product for that kind of stuff.
Oh, for sure, and I've always, paid my respects to Mac for the Apple, like Mac Pros and stuff like that, because they're such a great workhorse machine. And I started with the first generation Mac Pro, and that thing was an absolute beast. Like it, and I standard spec'd it because I back then couldn't afford the almost $6,000 price tag to get it up to higher specking, but I was able to still spend, I think it was close to back then like $4,000 on one, and it was an absolute beast of a machine. Um but yeah, I definitely, especially for running Pro Tools and anything like that, it loved it. It's such an ease to work with. And then when I went to I worked for a company that had Pro Tools, but I had it on a PC. Oh, that was nightmare. It just didn't like PC. But see, Pro Tools was never written for PC originally. It started out as a Mac, software,
Right.
as a program specifically written for Mac. Or sorry, like the Apple iOS software, but I was operating system. Sorry, but
Mhm.
whereas now, they are trying to cross-platform those applications, which is good. But I noticed Kevin's asked, "What am I working on?" Kevin, just real quick, I'm working on a mock.
Oh, let me put that up for you, Taz. There you go.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, Kevin's asked, "What am I working on?" This is a mock. Well, it's a remock of a much larger mock pizzeria. So the layout that I'm working on at the moment is more of a seaside themed layout. So a small, like village. And I wanted to sort of go back and recreate my original size mock, which is much larger than this one, but downscale it to a little bit more of a setting that will, go into my layout. So on my channel, I've called it a remock of a mock. So I'm actually, detailing what I'm working on at the moment. And Matt's seen a little bit of behind the scenes of this one, and tonight, early this morning for me, showing a bit more in a live situation. I haven't even got to this far on my channel yet. So, as I said to Matt, a bit of a early sort of showing of it so far. So it's getting there. Very early days, but yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment.
Yep, and it looks fantastic, as Kevin literally just said.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, the detailing there, they're actually offset with jumper plates. So that's how I've sorry, I might show it on the camera there, but yeah, it's they're actually offset a little bit. It just adds a little bit of depth to them. It's so I was lucky to get my local Lego store at the time had a bucket ton of these little what are they, 1 by 2 with the jumper plate in the middle. So I took advantage of grabbing. I think I grabbed like two big, well, like the large cups full of these because I knew I'd use them. And I've used them in a lot of my builds. Some hidden, some more up front. But yeah, it's going well.
Some more walls. So now
well,
it's framed in officially.
It's using, like you said, it's using a lot more of the darker tone colors, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it makes sense for this.
Yeah.
I like this nice. I don't know if I can get it in the frame here. Let me try here. Try and tilt a little bit. They got a couple of little speakers on the wall in the back part of the cafe there for the music.
That's cool. That's awesome.
A nice little touch by the designer.
That's really cool. I love the other what's the band area or the where you've got the guitars and the drum kit and that too.
The little performing area here. Yeah,
little stage area. That's really cool.
Part of my desire wanting to do this set too was I had taken apart my original music store.
Yeah.
Because I turned it into the dispensary build that I did a while back, which is it was on a whim. It was really funny. I'm glad I did it, but I haven't rebuilt that yet, the music shop. So I saw this. I'm like, I want to build this because it looks cool, and I think I'll probably keep the first floor as it is. With the whole performing cafe area here. I'll probably change a little bit of stuff, but
that's cool.
I think I'll remock once I get it built. Of course, the second floor to be more of an actual store because I still got. I reach over here. I've got all the stuff I took out of my original music store mock that I want to put back in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's going well. Now that I feel like I've actually made some progress.
Oh, you have, mate. It's I always love the interior detailing that you see with a lot of these rebrickable mocks and that as well. I saw some that there's one of like a lighthouse. It's like a house, then with a lighthouse that are built into it. Oh, it is, and it's in a bunch of colors that I don't have.
Yeah.
I think I want to say sand blue, but it's got a lot of sand blue tiles, and I'm just like, oh, it's such a fantastic build.
Yeah.
I'm very much tempted to scrap my mock lighthouse that I've done and just opt to get the one that's on rebrickable.
I was thinking, too bad we don't have Lumberjack around right now.
Oh yeah,
But I gotta 1 second. I gotta find this. But it's okay, Taz.
Yeah. It's because we're mates, Matt. It's because we're mates. I know that. There's been some cracking builds on rebrickable. I've just actually found one now, Matt. That wow, look at this. Can I actually? Can I show you one? That
you can go ahead. As soon as you pop it on the screen, I will click that on. Share it out.
Wow, I've just grabbed so many ideas on that art. That's so cool. Let me thanks, mate. I appreciate this too. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to take over the stream.
Oh no problem, buddy. No problem whatsoever.
Check out this one. Oh, look at the detail.
Let's go full here. Ooh.
Now,
look at that color. Oh my god.
Yeah, a lot of dark reds. I'm trying to zoom back out a little because I was a bit too far zoomed in on my screen. So it's an old bakery and pastry shop, Matt. Look at this one. Wow.
Ooh, I love all the feels right now. I'm digging that a lot.
I'm loving the
that feels like something you could see in like a Paris or something.
Oh, absolutely. This could also work for something like my layout because a lot of my buildings are like 2 stories. Like I'm not
Right.
really opting for massive, 4, 5, 6 level buildings because I'm trying to keep it that very sort of, small village feel to it, even though it's beachside. But it's that, it's that small little beach that hasn't been taken over by, high rise hotels and, like whenever I think of that, I think of like the a place called the Gold Coast, so in southern Queensland here in Australia.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to not make mine have that like, or like Miami sort of feel, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to scale it down to a small, out of the way sort of seaside town or village, and a build like that would be perfect.
So, Taz, I'm
wow.
going to issue you a challenge, Taz. I want to see you build something like that.
Oh, challenge accepted.
That would be fantastic. I obviously not. You don't have to do that, but something that is the inspiration.
Yes.
Kind of like I did. Dave Morgan's build inspired me to do the office tower as I did it, not mirroring his build. But just something in the vein of that nice corner, old authentic style would be. Oh, I'd love to see that.
The only pieces I don't have, and I know where I could get them from, but I'd have to spend some money now to do it, is those rounded corner window pieces, all glass, like the window pieces. I have these other 2. I've got 2 of these pieces on the other side here. They actually came in a friend set from a few years back. I found them in that. I know they've been used in a lot of other sets as well, but the one friend set that I got, because there was other parts I wanted out of it, had 2 of these windows. So that's an easy one. The corner one for me, however, I don't have any of them in my collection. So I'd have to, if I was going to use that corner piece, I'd have to do something like a part order. However, I would substitute and come up with something else as well, because I wouldn't want to blatantly, myself, I wouldn't want to claim it as a mock if I've near ripped it off completely as it is, because that's not fair to the designer, and I'd hate to do that, and I wouldn't want to be labeled for doing that, especially when I'm trying to say, oh yeah, it's a mock, as in it's my creation, when if I've just blatantly ripped it off somebody else. And it's
I think that's reasonable. I mean, like, obviously I just noted I was inspired to build the office building that I based on Dave Morgan's build.
Yeah, absolutely.
I took it and did it in my own style.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that there's no harm in that. But I mean, I know myself, if I was too close to this, I'd feel bad myself, because I'd be like, now if I had have put instructions on a site such as Rebrickable or other ones that are out there as well, and if I'd noticed that someone had almost done a near mirror image build of it, but claimed it to be their complete own, then I'd feel bad about that. But I mean, full credit to the designer. I love the use of the colors.
I'm loving that dark red like that right now. That is just so eye-catching.
I near had something like this almost in mind I was struggling to. I wanted to change up the pizzeria, to be honest. I really did want to change it up, and looking at this, I could have nearly done something like that, and I'm like, oh no. As soon as I went to rebrick, because I was going to show you the lighthouse one that I was interested in doing, and I saw this, and I'm like, that is almost what that's what I wanted to do for my pizzeria, but I couldn't get the visual link at that time. I couldn't make myself, if I had seen this, I possibly would have done something in a similar vein for the pizzeria. I would have got close to that, and it hurts seeing this in a positive. It's really, look, the design is brilliant. I'm digging this design absolutely. This could have been close to my pizzeria though. But no, full credit to the designer. This is a fantastic build. I love it.
I hate to say, but I mean, it's things like that when I see people building out incredibly detailed, beautiful things like that. I joke about this. So my folks have told me, "Oh, you should apply to go on Lego Masters. You do incredible." I'm like, I appreciate that, but then I see things like this and the way that people do things. I'm like, I'm not as talented as you think I am. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, that's I'm similar, Matt. I've like, had like my again someone who and even like Mrs. Taz will often go, you know, you should be applying for Lego Masters and you should be doing this, should be doing that, and it's like, yeah, I know, but I feel on some stuff I'd have no chance. You know what I mean? Like I'd have no chance at all. That wasn't the one I was looking for, but that's still a cool build as well. I like that lighthouse one as well.
Oh, that is nice.
That's clever. Where's the other one? It's definitely, I know it's rebreakable. Because I've seen plenty of images of it, and I know that I have seen it on rebreakable. This was another one that was kind of cool in that as well. Bit like obviously more medieval theme, but it's a cool build. I like it.
Very much so.
Very talented.
Brick Sergeant. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you hanging out for a while. Merry Christmas.
Good on you, Brick Sergeant. Merry Christmas, buddy. I think was Neil. Is this the one? Might not have been, but this was another really cool one as well. Look at the detail on this one, Matt.
Man,
that is really cool.
That feels like an authentic style New England thing. That's the vibe I get from that as soon as I see it, like right on the coastline there. That
it's
fantastic.
Would I be wrong in saying like it's got a bit of a like a Nova Scotia sort of feel to it? Yeah.
I can't say for sure. I mean, my perception is more of like a New England, Maine.
Yeah.
But I think probably the same style. I think Kevin is. Kevin, where are you from again? Were you Calgary or something like that? But I think you're Canadian. Do you recall that? Could you say something like that?
Oh, cool.
I've got that vibe, that kind of northeastern vibe for sure.
Yeah. I'll find the one that I was. Yeah, I thought I was able to find it at the moment, Matt. I'll go off screen share for now. But when I find it, I'll send you the link for the one that I've or if I find it while we're still chatting, I'll bring it up again. But
Kevin just said you see Maine, yeah.
I got a huge amount of inspiration from that one, and I again, I'm almost tempted to get the instructions for it and build it, but I want to try and still do a mock lighthouse, in some variant, but there's some incredible builds on here too. Just amazing detail.
Yeah, I don't go through Rebreakable really as much as I should, honestly. I miss out on so much stuff because I'm focused on my stuff. I'm focused on my content. I'm focused on following other people now and watching their content. I just don't do Rebreakable anywhere near as much as I should, honestly.
That can be like that can be a blessing and a curse because of you see a build and you go, oh, I've got to get those, and next minute another project, another build as well. But
probably a good thing.
And look, there's some amazing talent though that are doing these instructions, and I've been a fan of. It's just to the point where I still like doing my own stuff, but I'm very respectful of the builders that have that talent to do some amazing detailing.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah, for sure. Unless
do that same kind of, okay, so you were kind of thinking that right way, Taz, based on Kevin's statement.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. But I also know I sort of understand what you're saying there, Matt, too. It's got that little bit of like that one that we found that was the bed and breakfast lighthouse.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Really, really. That's the style of build that I'd love to do, and again, that's using a lot of the sand blue and that as well. And I have very, very limited sand blue.
As do I. That's a rare but very nice color that I don't have much any of. But actually, if I can I even show it? If I can see in here. So here's my blue, at least the smaller bricks.
Yep.
And there's a few sand blue mixed in there. Very, very little.
Yeah. It is one of those colors that, again, it worked really well in the assembly square modular.
Yep, I've got again blue right here, right now, than I do anywhere else.
But I mean, looking at that one that I was showing you there before, the one that's in sand blue, it's just like, oh, that's going to be a reasonably expensive part order for me to try and even get close to doing something like that. I've got a lot of the light grey, I mean, I know it's, what is it called? Medium stone grey, whatever the official color is of the profile bricks or the masonry bricks. I've got a bucket ton of them, so I don't have to worry about that. But sand blue, I don't have near enough to even, I wouldn't actually at the moment with my sand blue, I wouldn't even have enough to do 2 walls, even on a ground floor. I haven't got enough to do it. So,
well, I wonder if that'd be a case too, where you could kind of mod that with a similar color palette, maybe, to make it look
yes,
good.
Very, very, very. Oh, of course, very, very possible. But I love that color though. I like it. It pops for me. It stands out. It's like, it's not the traditional sort of red and white that you see in lighthouses, or predominantly white, or
I mean, the whole
as
thing
far as coloring,
because it's that rarer color. It just looks fantastic. It catches the eye.
Oh, and it would fit perfectly into my layout because it creates that sense of, it's a town that's been around for a long time, and it's, a still well-maintained lighthouse, but it's not, it's not too sort of, like typical lighthouse feel. It's very, I love it. I absolutely love this one. Yeah, I'll probably end up talking myself.
Can hear and imagine the gears are turning right now, Taz.
Oh, they are big time. Absolutely big time. Very much so. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to. Again, my part. I'm working on a very limited part range at the moment and color range, so I'm sort of trying to not fall back in the trappings of every build having to be a bricklink order,
right?
Because I'm trying to bank finances a little bit too for other things, and just sort of curbing some of my expenses a little bit for other stuff as well, and some non-Lego related expenses coming up down the track. So I've sort of got to find that happy medium and find that happy balance. I tell you what, though, the more I keep looking at it, I'm like, oh.
No, I hear you. I mean, kind of the thing that I'm doing too. Like, I try to avoid spending a lot of money for the office tower.
Yes,
I got a little bit more some dark, but a lot of that was trying to use the things I've got on hand from Pab collections, and that's why it did not mirror Dave Morgan's build.
Yeah,
The bigger windows that I had from Pab and all the other stuff that I did have on hand deliberately, so I could make it my own, but also save at least some money on it.
Yeah, oh, for sure, mate. Yeah.
And that's why the interiors were just based on things I had on hand. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough for me to be very happy and satisfied with it. So I totally get that.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, and Dave too. I mean, we're talking about a very talented builder in that as well. I've had the great opportunity of getting to actually do a Taz Gets to Know with Dave Morgan, and such a talented builder.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like, Dave has only been in the hobby now for like 2 or 3 years himself.
Yeah,
but he got to learn and do work in studio, and with how he's disciplined himself to kind of go through that and learn techniques and everything, he has proven to come up with some incredible builds himself. I'm incredibly awed and impressed every time I see him come out with something. Like his most recent Jurassic World inspired complex that he came out with. I'm just like, dude.
Oh, for sure, mate.
Amazing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And again, just his talent and that and attention to detail is fantastic. It's something I noticed very when I was talking to him, and then I'm just like, Dave, you're a champion builder, mate. Like, credit where credit's due.
No question. Yep. And that's why I kind of wanted to do what I did, and he was gracious enough to share his design with me and let me run with it. So I want to give credit for all that stuff because it's appropriate.
Oh, for sure. And that's where again I love getting that chance to getting to meet some of these really, you know, talented builders and get to know them a little bit, and just being able to admire and appreciate, you know, some of their, you know, their work and that, you know. So yeah, definitely, for sure.
Definitely. All right. I think I've reached an appropriate stopping point for now. It's just so much this morning. I think I want to take a mental break from some of it for the time being.
But again, Matt, I appreciate the invite, mate. I really do. As you know, it's always appreciated. And yeah, again, thank you so much. And hopefully, yeah, next time around we'll get to hang out with Greg again as well. Always good fun there.
My pleasure. And I think most everybody that's on here knows you, Taz, but please, you know, if for the sake of like people that might play this back later or whatever, you know, plug yourself real quick. People where to find you.
Oh, sure. Thank you. And thanks for the opportunity. You can find me on YouTube at Tasman Bricks. You can also follow me on Instagram as well. And as I like to say now, you can also find me at a drive-through to Krispy Kreme Donuts. So, but yeah, thank you, Matt. Yeah, Tasman Bricks on YouTube, Tasman Bricks on Instagram. Spelling as you see it on the screen there as well, with the naming down the bottom. And please also, if you want to get to know a little bit more about Brooks Bricks or Matt, I've actually done a Taz Gets to Know Brooks Bricks, which you can find on my channel as well. And we had a lot of fun. It certainly won't be the first and last. Well, it was the first for Matt, but it won't be the last time. We'll catch up on a Taz Gets to Know. But yeah, make sure you check that one out as well. We had a lot of fun with it, and again, Matt, I really appreciate the opportunity for the invite, mate. Thank you as always.
My pleasure. Thank you for actually staying up so late to hang out with me.
Not a problem, mate. Happy to help it. Happy to hang out and spend some time. Again, I'm on time off at the moment, so it's really enjoyable to get the chance just to hang out and watch you do a really good build at the moment there too, mate. It's coming along really nicely.
So there it is, folks. One last little look here at it. Coming along well.
It is, yeah.
The front, I think, is going to look. Once I get more stuff built in, I think the front's going to look really, really nice overall. It'll be a great build. All right, folks. Again, I also want to say thank you to all of you who came to hang out this morning on Christmas morning for a lot of us. I really do appreciate it. I didn't expect really anybody to hang out, but folks did, and again, it's great to see people. All right, folks. Until next time. Have a great day.
Thanks for the subscription, Kevin, too, mate. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you.
Until next time, folks, take care. Have a great one. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff. I will see you later.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Adios.